Welcome to the exhibit Remarkable Women, on display in the KOA Gallery located on the Bradford campus of Pittsburgh University until September 25th of 2021. Remarkable Women is a celebration of the artwork created by resident artists of the continuing care community of Bradford Ecumenical Home during their participation in a Pennsylvania Council on the Arts Long Term Residency. Teaching artist Julie Mader worked closely with the Bradford Ecumenical Home activity staff during classes held twice weekly from late January through July, taught virtually with pre-recorded lessons and live Zoom sessions. COVID protocols changed late July, allowing Julie to teach the final 4 classes in person. This positive aging program of lifetime learning and creative expression while engaging residents also supported social interaction. 39 residents with an average age of 88 created both 2- and 3-dimensional works of art in a variety of media, ranging from acrylic and watercolor painting to dyeing fabric and working with polymer clay. Each of the program participants chose several of their favorite pieces to share for this display, filling the gallery with over 150 works of art. As we tour the Remarkable Women exhibit, I will highlight several of the projects to explain the process which brought the works to the gallery walls. 38 remarkable scientists, mathematicians, conservationists, artists, and activists, American women from many walks of life, served as the inspiration for the art projects. As you enter the gallery and turn to the right, you are enveloped in a field of blue, indigo blue to be exact. Set into motion by the textile art of Faith Ringgold and bilingual storyteller Pure Belpre, resident artists were out of doors for a shibori dye project. Artists folded and clamped fabric before it was soaked in water and immersed into a vat of indigo dye. The dyed fabric pieces were lifted from the vat and unfolded to reveal the repeat patterns, which the residents saw transform from a yellow-green into a lovely blue right before their eyes as oxygen penetrated the fibers and reacted with the dye. The pattern pieces were washed and stretched on the frames, allowing the artists to lovingly add a touch of embroidery to the piece to share their own message or story. We move into the gallery space and are greeted by a mixed media everglade of landscapes. Shorebirds, along with other wildlife, was saved by Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, who saved the Florida Everglades and inspired this project. Accessorize, darling. Costume designer Edith Head worked on over 1,100 films, earned 35 Oscar nominations, won 8 Oscars for costuming work, and inspired jewelry design for our classes. Students worked in polymer clay, blending colors to be flattened into charms and rolled into beads. One-of-a-kind beads were also made using formed balls of clay, inserting a head pin and imprinting the artist's fingerprint with a smidgen of pigment powder. Many beads and charms were strung onto bracelets and necklaces along with glass beads, while others were arranged by the artist to be attached to chain with jump rings. One of my favorite quotes from the project came from Jean French, who told me, When I put on my bracelet, I feel like $1,000,000. People don't understand. We are making art. This is real art. We also made monotype prints. In order to do this project, first we needed to learn about facial proportions. The artists broke down a picture of the face, finding how your eyes line up with your mouth, which lines up with the sides of your nose, and we sketched out faces and learned about those proportions. Then they chose an image of one of the remarkable women and did a drawing of it from scratch, which we then put on the back of a piece of paper, which was put onto ink that was rolled out, and they pulled a monotype print of the remarkable women. The next project on the wall are paintings. This is celebrating the legend of the three sisters, which are squash, beans, and corn. Artists drew the plants with charcoal and then used acrylic paint and just primary colors, blending colors and mixing to get brown and orange and green. Do you know how to mix brown? The peeps do. This project was inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe, the mother of modernism, and Jean Neidig, who was the founder of Weight Watchers. This may not look like rocket science, but the clay mosaics on display are certainly inspired by it. Annie Easley, a mathematician and rocket scientist, and Alma Thomas, an expressionist painter and teacher who is fascinated by space, are the inspiration behind these works of art. Have you ever found yourself humming that tune? Have you seen Cinderella or Peter Pan from Walt Disney? Mary Blair is a concept artist. She designed It's a Small World at the Magic Kingdom, and she has influenced our art lessons as well. We drew bright, colorful flowers using a tissue color base and some nice, bold lines. We learn about a lot of different art mediums, and next on the wall is a cyanotype. I thought I'd share a clip with you from one of our lessons. The first side, facing up, I put it into the water and it's going to start quickly to develop and turn into a deeper blue. I'm going to brush across the paper with my fingers, and you can see the water turns a little bit yellowish. Those are the chemicals washing off of the paper. The second side, which was not exposed as long to the sun, is a lighter shade of blue. And you'll notice there are some foggy areas. You can see the line of my plastic showing up. On the front side, when it was exposed longer, the plastic line doesn't really show up as much. So the longer exposure gives you a nicer contrasting print. So I'm going to use a little hydrogen peroxide and spritz the print to try to get the color to develop a little bit farther. I'm going to spray the front side. There we go, and it turns into a nice deep blue. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to rinse it off in the paper, get all those chemicals off of it, and then I will hang it up on a line to dry. And I am really happy with it, and I'm ready to make another print. These mini canvases covered with beads are our version of a medicine pouch. The backing is a mesh backing, and there's a little piece of fleece inside with a bit of aromatherapy. These pieces are inspired by assemblage artist Bet Saar, cancer researcher Angela Zhang, oncologist Jan Cook-Wright, and pharmacologist and biochemist Gertrude Elian. Mid-century modern art was explored, along with remarkable women, Ray Eames, an industrial designer and architect, and Eva Zeisel, a ceramics designer. We used tints and tones and shades and complementary colors to pull together mid-modern shapes inspired by the work of these women. With the project based on balance and radial symmetry, our peeps studied Ruby Bridges and Mamie Phipps Clark, who is a psychologist and a civil rights activist. Our radial balance was achieved by printing a foam plate with an etched design in a repeat pattern on top of a beautiful field of bright colors laden with oil pastels. These watercolor paintings, printed with potato prints, are inspired by Katherine Johnson, physicist and mathematician, and minimalist painter Agnes Martin. These colorful pieces are collagraph prints, created in a lesson teaching symmetrical and asymmetrical balance. We talked about balance in life as well, studying the artwork of Sister Coretta Kent and the civil rights activist Rosa Parks. Foam pieces are added to a substrate, which were painted and pressed onto paper in a repeat pattern. These images, when layered together, are just absolutely stunning works of art. In a galaxy far, far away, we have constellations of stars. And right here in the gallery, we have beaded constellations of stars, hand sewn onto watercolor painted space scenes by our art peeps. In the center of the gallery space are 2 tables set for hosting coffee hour. This installation is inspired by the work of Judy Chicago, who along with a team of artists created the dinner party. The resident artists of Bradford Ecumenical stained canvas, reviewed presidential dinnerware patterns, and created linen cyanotype placemats while learning about artists Judy Chicago and Helen Frankenthaler, Top Chef Julia Child, and industrial designer Lillian Gilbreth. In addition to setting the table, Participants baked up their own slice of American pie while learning to work with paper clay and investigating Oprah Winfrey, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and sculptress Augusta Savage. I'll leave you with a look at the Touch and See vases. This project, inspired by Patricia Bath, an ophthalmologist and inventor responsible for laser cataract surgery, and Helen Keller, author, teacher, and disabilities activist. This is an acrylic painting base with a three-dimensional vase put on top and some silk flowers arranged. With love. I hope that you have enjoyed this tour of remarkable women. If you would like to view additional photos of the artwork and the process which led up to this exhibit, please visit juliemater.com/beh-residency.html. This long-term residency program was supported in part by the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts, a state agency funded by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the National Endowment for the Arts, a federal agency.